is April the 11th. Man. It's 1 p.m. here on the west coast of the United States, and you can tell that I'm struggling when it comes to my voice. Now, that's because I woke up not feeling so well today. And so I have a choice either not to do a stream or to do a stream and not to talk so much, which would be really weird. But today is the call-in show, so I'm hoping that folks call in and we have really fun conversations, and that I wouldn't need to talk as much as on the normal, basis. So, yeah, just woke up feeling like this. Woke up sort of shivering, and I was like, okay, that's not good. I had a little cough yesterday, but I thought that had nothing to do with getting sick because I didn't feel like that, but I felt quite a bit like that in the morning. But I think hopefully we'll get better as the process goes. I'm feeling better in regards to the shivers and stuff, but the voice it's the throat that is the problem here today. So I think we'll have a lot of fun. Logos, what's up? How you doing? Nice software. I like it. And if you guys have Bible questions, yeah, we'll pull those up and look at them. But again, today's a call-in show. For those who aren't aware, what we do on Tuesdays is, I dropped the link already. You click on that link, and then you get to call in, and then we get to have conversations. Now, you can call in without showing your face. That works as well. Okay. SM says, I wish I'm back to work at 1 p.m. Wish I was available for the Q&A call-in. This sounds exciting as I would love to participate. Hopefully in the future you will have the ability to participate in that. Ramadan Mubarak says, hope the guy from the last stream forgives you. Okay, he's a friend and that was a joke. So yeah. Hello Lex, how you doing? We have a caller. This is great. I like this. It's nice having nice friends. So let's see here. We'll bring in our good friend. I might need to change. There you are. What's up, Jeremy Collins? How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Pretty good. You're sort of lagging a little bit.
Does that work? Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yeah.
I'm on my Bluetooth, so I don't know how it sounds.
There's like a clicky sound every time you talk.
So your voice is a little hoarse?
Oh, yeah.
Is there really? Hold on. Let me switch to the other mic.
No, I can't hear you. Why don't you call back in? We'll do that. We'll have Jeremy call back in. There he is. Guess not. No idea what's going on with my computer. Okay, I just for some reason lost you. Let's see.
Yeah, it went away and came back. Does that sound any better?
Yeah, much better.
Maybe, maybe not.
No, it sounds a lot better. You're good.
Yeah, I took you off the Bluetooth. So, nice.
Dude, I'm
Yeah, I'm
messing
just
everything up here.
hanging at the park. One of the few nice days we get in Pittsburgh.
One of the few. Is the weather always
Yeah,
bad,
it
Jeremy?
goes from winter. Not always, but it feels like it goes from winter to like we get 3 days of this where it's 70 and sunny, and then it's just gonna rain for the rest of spring.
Oh,
So
that's horrible. How
that's
you been?
it is what it is.
How was your Easter? Tell
It
us
was
a
it was
little bit
good.
about.
Other than yeah, everything was nice. As a pastor, I like to take it super chill and relaxed after. So we just ordered a bunch of food. Me and my girls, we just hung out and took an easy day. But church was really nice. I still just don't understand why people only come for Christmas and Easter. I've never understood that dynamic in someone's life. But
I don't know
is what
whether
it
you
is.
heard. I don't know whether you heard my Easter sermon that I put up. It was essentially about that.
I saw the title. That's why I mentioned it. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah,
gone back to listen yet, but I did see the title.
yeah. I mean, I got to preach at one of our congregations, and essentially, I was like, "Why are you here? You're either here because of tradition. You're either here because somebody brought you. You feel an obligation or something, or you're here because you actually think Jesus resurrected from the dead, which is fine because that's what we're doing. We want to celebrate and enjoy ourselves, and the fact that we've been saved. But if you're just here for whatever tradition, um, then we got an issue. So I went into the gospel and spoke about the importance of that. So, but it was good, I think. Um, that's such a nature of things. I mean, I remember when I mean, it's sort of a good and a bad thing because before I was actually a believer, I mean, I was an Easter and Christmas Christian, essentially. Um,
Mhm.
and some things get left there, I guess. But again, it's not ideal. It's just weird because I think when you're in ministry, it does get a bit disheartening. You do all this preparation and stuff because you know what's going to happen, and then the week after when it's not that, it can get disheartening. Kind of like, where are all these people, right? But those are also people that you're in connection with. That's the thing. It's like they're not just randomly coming because you're a church in the city. They just showed up to you. Most of those people are coming because they visited your church, that family and friends at your church. Like somehow they're connected to the church. And you kind of go, well, we
Absolutely.
have access to these people and we can minister to them, but they don't want to give their lives to Jesus, I guess.
Yeah, well, and I think some of it is folks coming home, right? Pittsburgh. The nice thing about the area that I'm in is people live here and then stay here their whole life. So, like, people come back and retire back here. So you have a lot of
Interesting.
families coming back to visit grandma and grandpa who still live here. So, some of that is true where we do get to minister, but also some of it is we know them, but we know they live out of state. So that's
But
part
it's
of the
also like, I
the
feel like
challenge
there's
too.
also a denominational kind of thing to this, component to this as well. Like you being Presbyterian, like one of the things I realized about Presbyterians is like they're like lifelong Presbyterian. Their their great grandchildren are Presbyterians, right? Like you get this family sort of thing. That's just my observation. Tell me if I'm right or wrong about that. But um, and
I would
that's
say yes. I didn't grow up Presbyterian, so I was grafted in. Um, but and I think it also depends upon. I think the culture of the area is really important. I mean, the culture of Western Pennsylvania is very family, generations all living close together. You have coal miners and steel workers and farmers and a lot of blue collar. So when you put all that together, you really have this emphasis on planting in one place and not moving. Now you also have the suburbs and the growth of other things, obviously, but I would say that's the Western Pennsylvania mindset, and there's a lot of Presbyterian churches in this area of the country. Um, But yeah, so I think it's denominational too, that you feel more tied to a specific church when you have that tradition that you're a
Yeah.
part of. I would say it's the same with Catholic and the same with other that are denominations that are very denominationally centric in what they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, because
Whereas
it's just been a part
Baptist,
of your
like,
family.
you can move. Yeah, exactly. So,
You're saying if you're
but yeah,
Baptist, what?
Easter was good. Well, I think if you're a Baptist, there's the role of the autonomy of the local church makes it more like we're not all in this together, but every individual church is their own thing. Whereas when you're part of different denominations, even like the groups of Presbyterians that I wouldn't agree with, still have this unity as a large group, whereas like a group like the SBC would look at and go, yeah, we're all part of it, but it's really about each individual
Yeah,
church
correct.
more
Like
so.
decentralized quite a bit more.
Yeah,
That's true.
which has its advantages and disadvantages. But
You're right. Yes.
so. Now, is there a tradition that your family has that is specific to your family that you enjoy about every Easter? It may not even be anything related to church or something that
Oh,
you
it's
look forward
interesting.
to about
Very interesting. And I suppose, I mean, this you'll get this in a little bit of various uh, denominations, I guess. But like I grew up, it's a part of like Armenian tradition, I would say. It's apostolic tradition, but it's beyond apostolic. Um, where Easter Eve, essentially, right, the day before Easter, or sometimes on Easter, but generally the day before Easter, there's a meal you generally have with your family, and then in the meal you actually you have communion. The head of the family will lead the family through communion, and it's with wine, ladies and gentlemen, what Jesus drank. Not grape juice always makes me laugh. But even though that's what we do at our church, it's just okay. And so there's a communion that happens, but also for the meal, you're technically not supposed to have, according to tradition, you're not supposed to have meat. You can only eat fish. That's the only meat that can be on the table. So we gathered together at my brother's house this time on Easter with our entire family, and I think he cooked like 30 fish or something like that. I don't know. It was a lot of fish. So there's specific dishes,
Do you have
and
loaves and fishes?
yeah, essentially, there's a really cool dish that is it usually comes from the Iranian Armenian um, tradition, and it's like an egg cake with greens. Like it's just a
Mm.
bunch of greens with eggs, and it turns into like a cake. And we usually eat that, and that's cool. Somebody asked if you're getting ready to play lacrosse.
Oh, I'm coaching later tonight, but my kids are just running around having fun. So that's.
Nice.
But yeah, so I actually coach at one of the local high schools. I'm an assistant coach, so I will be playing lacrosse. Well, coaching lacrosse later. It's a nice night for it. This is Karis. This is one of my daughters. Say hi. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
They're going for a walk around.
That's good.
Go play with your
Look,
friends, sweetie.
it looks like real nice weather. I mean,
Oh,
it's getting warm
we're
here.
we're
So
enjoying it. Yeah. When does it usually not get warm? Like what are
no,
what are the
we've
bad times for you guys?
when it's raining.
Are
No,
there any?
it's been
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cold this year. This year has been pretty cold. I mean, I don't think I remember it being this cold and this rainy for a very long time. I mean, when I say long, I mean 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And but
Yeah.
now, like I think Sunday was like we had 85. The weather was 85, and my kids were like, "Let's go. We can go swimming." And I was like, "No, no, it's not that hot
So
for
there
you to
was
go swimming."
there was an Easter maybe like 4 years ago here where we woke up and there was snow on the ground, And I got up in front of the church, and everyone's in like a ho hum, like, come, it's April and it's snowing, and I'm like, guys, this is the most theologically correct Easter we've ever had, because our sins are washed away like snow. So there you go. You look
The sermon,
outside.
the sermon wrote itself.
Yeah, it wrote itself, but I kind of found it fun. Everyone else was like, I'm over it. It's been winter since October. We're over it. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think it's gonna dip a little bit, but and then we're gonna go into like the higher 70. I think it's 78 today, and then we'll go into the 80s, and then probably the 90s,
nice.
and then we'll be complaining about how hot it is, and we're cooking.
Nope,
Yeah,
I don't do that. I'm not allowed.
yeah, it was crazy
Okay.
because yesterday like it got pretty warm in my office, and it usually does in the summer. But and I got an air conditioner, but it's loud. Like I can't have it on whenever I'm live. So I was trying to see if I can find a really quiet air conditioner unit I can end up setting in my office, so it can be on whenever
Oh,
whenever I'm live.
yeah. John Adams is the same way. He's in Orlando and in his garage when he's recording, so he's melting.
The the fear I have is my equipment. It's not just me melting. It's the heat can really damage the
Oh, that's
equipment you
true.
have. Yeah, it can really mess up your equipment.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's
So you
for
gotta be
sure.
careful.
Luckily, I'm in the basement of a place that I don't have to worry. It doesn't get hot or cold. It just stays the same. So
That's cool.
makes it easy.
Let's
So
see.
what are you working on? What are you excited about? I haven't been paying
Oh man.
attention to what you're up to. What are the plugs for the channel that's upcoming?
Um. Well, man, we're making shorter form videos, which is really good. I got a friend who's actually developing scripts and sending them to me, and then I do the editing and then post those. So I hope people are enjoying that. I jumped on one of those. What is it? I think Media posted something about a like the AI kind of shorts generators, and so that's um, one thing I've been using. So it's producing a lot more shorts.
Back.
Make sure you don't lose your kids.
No, go back to the.
Excuse me, guys. I just keep coughing. It's just annoying. Jerome says Arthur is watching a slideshow on the right hand side of the screen. Go away, Jerome. What? I've messed up my entire screen today. You're back.
Kids were trying to run away in a field. Sorry.
Yeah, it's more important, man.
Need to make sure there's someone safe. Yeah. Hey, can you go back to mommy and go to the bathroom? His name is Arthur. He's a friend of Daddy's. Say hi. Yep. There's Asher. Karis, where are you going?
Hi.
I'm gonna mute myself. You keep talking.
Do you have 3 daughters?
Two. Just two. Just
Yeah,
two. Asher and Karis, and then they got friends that they're running around with right now.
No, but you don't have
So
any boys. You don't have any
5 and 7.
sons.
No boys. No boys.
That's
We
a
we
different
would
kind
love
of issue.
to. Yeah. No, we would love to be able to either foster or adopt later, but we're not in a financial place where that would be possible.
Yeah, well, one of the things in the
It's
US
just
is that it's
too expensive,
extremely
honestly.
expensive to adopt.
Even yeah, and even to foster. I mean, you can get some assistance and grants when you do those things, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's one of the hopes.
Jeremy has a YouTube channel as well for those who are asking. So he's a pastor. It's called Jeremy Collins. Is it called Jeremy Collins or just Pastor Jeremy Collins?
It's Jeremy Collins, but the handle is at Pastor Jeremy Collins.
Yeah, I knew that was the. And then you were posting in the chat that your Instagram is like blowing up today.
For yeah, I don't know. I think what happened, and maybe I had a short that I'd recorded, like just a reaction clip to a Joe Rogan podcast clip, and I think that maybe that was it, but it looks like bot accounts. Either way, it was just interesting. So
I hate bot accounts, man. I regularly block them because you can tell what the
it's
bots are. Um,
so frustrating.
I mean, I don't know how many bot accounts I've blocked.
Yeah, well, and it's hard for me to know what's a bot and what's not, and until they post something, I don't care. If they comment, then that's when they get blocked. So,
Yeah,
but actually, I've blocked so few people, like even the people that come at me, I actually prefer just to not block and engage when possible,
I don't.
as long as profanity isn't being used.
we we blocked someone yesterday that ended up being a friend. That was hilarious. So yesterday's stream was really funny. Uh, it was he was pranking me, and but I thought it was a real person, so I was like, this is getting kind of annoying. So we blocked him. And then he texted me. He's like, unblocked me.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I mean, we're continuing to do what we're doing with our channel. We're trying to grow it. I mean, it's cool that we've passed 4,000, and then it's moving faster than it was. In regards to subscriptions and then just seeing new folks on the channel, so it's cool.
Well, and
Even
that's what
just
I've been
posting videos
excited
and
to
yeah,
see is that the long form stuff is really getting pushed.
yeah,
People enjoy building community, and that's what I've loved about your channel is that it's not just about like coming and sitting down and having a quick conversation. All your conversations are long and thought out. I don't know how you find it'd be almost impossible probably to find shorts content from your content because you are methodical and that 60 seconds doesn't usually allow for
it's
methodical.
yes, it's very difficult. Like usually, it's like I'll try to pull a short out, and I'm like, I can't. There's like another 4 minutes of conversation.
So just do clips, don't
Right.
do shorts.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying one of those websites that was recommended on like an AI thing that like splits your long form content into shorter ones does so much. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, I just got my church using one of them for that very reason because I could give that information to someone in our church to do, and I don't have to teach them how to edit video. And
Yeah,
so
it
they're
just does
chopping
it,
the
outlines
sermons
it.
up from, yep. But we're just doing it into shorts. We're not trying to do it into clips. And actually, um, just because we want to drive traffic to the sermon is really the goal.
Hmm,
And so we'll see if it
nice.
works.
Let's hope so.
But
Let's see. I want to jump into the comments. There's some.
whoa, what are you doing? Did you find a bug? I found a bee.
I love the excitement. Dude, my daughter.
It might more like fear, but yeah.
Okay, so my daughter is like, she doesn't get disgusted of anything. She has a very unique personality in that. So it's the opposite with her. If she sees bugs and just like crawling, like she'll get him and bring him inside the house. Okay, she'll be like, I have a pet.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not supposed to touch that. So the other day she had found these ladybugs that she was keeping in like a plastic Easter egg, and she had put grass in there. She's like, I'm feeding them, and she had named them and stuff. It was so funny. And then she ended up losing them at church, and it was chaos. She's like, I lost my pets. I'm like, they're ladybugs, they're not pets. But she picks up worms regularly and just walks around with them.
My kids do the same with ants, and then they get upset when the ants aren't still in the box that they put them in. But if the ant, but the difference is, if the ant is in the bedroom at nighttime, it's an emergency. If the ant is in the living room during the daytime, it's a pet. Like they're scared at
Interesting.
night if there's an ant upstairs.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
What
yeah.
a while ago, I actually hatched. This is interesting. So I enjoy gardening. I bought and hatched praying mantis eggs. So each egg produces like 200, I think, praying manti,
Oh
however you
wow.
say it. Yeah, but like they don't all survive because they like kill each other and eat each other and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the remaining ones, you just see them around, our house in the garden and stuff like that. And every once in a while, the kids will catch one and they're like, throw it in a jar. We want to keep this as a pet. And like name it and stuff. They're nice, man. I love them. They're nice and big. They're really good to get rid of other bugs, and they're harmless.
That's what I tell my wife about the snakes we have in our yard. They get rid of all the stuff we don't want. They're
I don't know whether I'd be okay with
but she treats them.
snakes. It's raining in Manchester.
It's
Okay,
little tiny, like they can't even eat them. Oh, we got more weather updates. Yeah, how's the weather where everyone else is?
yeah, Manchester. It's raining. That's Manchester, England. Good. It should always rain in Manchester. There shouldn't be a sunny day in
On
Manchester.
that we can agree.
What a season.
Of course, a Liverpool fan would say that.
I can't. I mean, the ironic thing would be, I suppose, that if it's raining in Manchester, it's probably raining in Liverpool. It's always raining in Liverpool. It's horrendous weather. Hey, stop it all day. What's up? I'm just gonna make some comments. Let's see. Small child doesn't know that she's an apologist. Jerome said the small child doesn't know that she's an apologist now, that she's appeared on this stream. That's right. We train
Well,
up our
actually,
kids.
so
We
if you go to
train up
my
our kids
channel,
very well.
so here's I'll give a plug for my most recent video for that. I actually had her on the channel presenting the resurrection, the story of the resurrection, using 12 Easter eggs with little things inside. So it was just a way to remember the story. So if you want to see my youngest on camera actually being an apologist, you can go do that. It's fun. It's a
There
good
you
time.
go.
That was from her preschool.
Kids.
Yeah.
Did she develop that herself, or did you kind of like teach her to?
So that was through her preschool, at the church that she's a part of. So they work on it, and they get to help cut out the little things that go in the eggs, and so each little egg has a different part of the story. So like the donkey, or the palm branch, or the robe, or the cross, or the stone, to help them remember the order of what happened in the story. Yeah, the money bag or the chalice, and then yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff.
That's cool. I'm not very creative when it comes to education. I'm pretty boring when it comes to that. Where I'm like, here, I'll lecture, you guys learn. But my wife, on the other hand,
Well, that's why the shorter catechism is what it is. It's great to use that. We've used the New City Catechism with our kids, and that's been fruitful. Though there's something I'm working on right now. Actually, it'll be a project that eventually shows up on the channel. Karis, we're going back the other way. It's called the Loved Bible Project. They're on Instagram, and the idea is you create a loved Bible that you give to someone. And a loved Bible is a Bible that you go through and systematically highlight, underline, and write in notes about different sections. So I'm building a loved Bible right now for my 7-year-old. Actually, she's helping me build and put together. That when she turns 10, I'll give her this Bible that basically is a custom made study Bible that then we'll walk through together, and I'll be able to use it as a form of discipleship. So
that's
it's fun.
cool,
And
dude.
so you're like, well, where would you start with something like that? That's where the Loved Bible Project on Instagram comes in. They have a newsletter and a guide to structure. Be like, hey, here's some of the basic important scriptures to disciple someone. And you could either do this as a long-term project for your kids, or you can use it as evangelism to like create a love Bible and then give it to someone who you've been praying for, and it be a quicker turnaround. I'm taking the much longer approach of writing prayers and my own whatever takes on passages and this, that, and the other. So you could just follow their rubric and have a Bible to give. It started as a project to give to homeless people, and then it's grown from there.
That's a cool idea, man. That because I know people who have like the Bibles of their grandfathers, great grandfathers who were preachers, and all their notes were in there and stuff like that. And just to sit there and read
Yep.
the thoughts of these individuals is amazing, because you're like, oh wow, like that's a nice observation.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing is that even for someone who's like, well, I'm not super theological yet, or I don't even know how to do that. The great thing is, as you follow the structure, the plan in the Love Bible, you learn too. So it's like, even if you're not quite sure, it's some of what you grow into. And so
That's
yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah,
been, I mean, I just started that this week, but I'm going to have Marie Osweiler, Marie Osweiler, who is the originator of this, is someone that I know personally. So that's partly why I'm excited about it too. So
that's cool, dude. That is something. That's something to promote. I like it.
so if you want to see pictures of that stuff, follow me on Instagram, Jeremy David Collins at Instagram.
Maybe that's why you're getting all those followers on Instagram.
This, you want to meet my wife? She's running away. There, you can see her
Oh,
running away.
oh, she took off. She's like, "Ah, I hate the camera. Stay
Yeah,
away."
yeah,
Yeah,
she's.
I'm trying to convince my wife to come back
The
on the
pine cones
stream.
over here, sweetie. Yeah, well, the ironic thing is I've been trying to convince my wife to start a YouTube channel of her own, but she won't do it. She's a makeup artist, and I think she'd have
Dude,
10 times the subscribers I have in a day.
bro, like I know folks that have insanely large YouTube channels and Instagram accounts that are makeup artists.
Yeah, I'm
Like
certain of it.
endorsements, like just that is their
All
living.
of it.
Like
I already told her I edited all the
this one
videos.
person I know, she has her own makeup brand now. And she started like
Oh, wow.
blogging. She started from blogging to like YouTube and then Instagram, and then now she has her own makeup brand.
I bet my wife follows her.
Oh man, hey, I wanna have a couple of more folks back on. I appreciate you calling in here and giving my voice a break. So thank you so much for your kindness.
No
By the
problem.
way, somebody said it's 93 degrees where they are, and that's in Arizona. So there you go,
No,
Jeremy.
yeah, 75 here.
93
That's
degrees
too hot.
in
I'm good.
Arizona.
I'm good.
It's 75 there. It's actually 72 here. You guys have warm.
Oh, we win. We win.
You do.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, hope you have a good rest of your stream. My phone's about to run out of battery here anyway, so it's a good parting of ways.
Thank
Hope
you.
and pray your voice returns. Hey, we're gonna say bye. Karis, come say bye. Yeah, she said bye, walking away. So
Bye bye.
see y'all.
See you,
Thanks for
man.
having me on, Arthur.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna fix something I messed up here. There's two of me. Okay. Man. Yes, Saad, we will have Jeremy. Jeremy is a good friend, and we can have him back on. I like that Bible idea. That's that project. That idea is really cool. Interesting. That is a very interesting observation. Hey, we don't speak in Celsiuses. We're Americans. We have our own system of doing things. Funnily enough, is also raining in Liverpool. What did I say? You can have that Bible for the low price of $99.95. No, it's a project. I don't think they sell Bibles. You make your own Bible, so you can buy whatever version you want, and then just write in it. So if you want to give your child a good, solid, expensive Bible, you can. By the way, when people complain about how Bibles, like how can a Bible be expensive? It's the Word of God. Then you don't understand that materials, some materials cost more than other materials because they're better materials. For example, the paper. There's better paper qualities, thicker or thinner paper qualities. The ink that gets used, the leather, if it is leather or whatever material gets used to bind it. Like this stuff takes time and resources and effort, man. I don't have an issue with Bibles being expensive, by the way. Not at all. And I've used anything from a $1 Bible to my current study Bible, not study Bible, my current Bible that I take to church, my net Bible, was a gift given to me, and it's $100 Bible. There you go, huh? Some books are more expensive than others. So it's not called the Bible Project. It's because the Bible Project is the YouTube channel, the Bible Project, right? It's called the Loved Bible Project. Am I a friend of the Gideons? I like the Gideons. I've used Gideons before. Yeah. Does anybody else want to call in? Hey, look who's here, everybody. I like to burn insects with magnify glass. Magnify glass. Sorry, I didn't see this, Carl. Yeah, I know Christians who do this. I've actually offered to adopt people's children who were going to abort their children, and they said, no, we'd rather abort them. That was a literal conversation I had with someone. Can you believe it? I literally had a conversation with someone where I said, hey, I will adopt your child, as they were walking to an abortion clinic. And the individual said to me, wow, that's very kind of you. You're a very nice person. But ended up walking into the abortion clinic and aborting their child. Hey, hey, what's up? How you doing? I don't remember how far in the pregnancy they were. I know. You guys, if you've never stood in front of an abortion clinic and seeing people go into an abortion clinic, do not buy the nonsense that folks sell you. Um, the horrendous things you see in front of abortion clinics. I would say, if even if you're like pro-abortion, go stand in front of an abortion clinic and see what takes place. And I doubt you'll be pro-abortion. I've seen men drag women in there by force, dragging them by their hand. And somebody goes, "That's not right. It's illegal. X, Y, and Z." People who are in the business of killing babies for a living aren't going to care about that. Prove me wrong. I should say, everybody, that the link is in the Facebook group. It's pinned up at the top. If you want to call in, that's the way you call in. Hey, we got a Twitch person in here. What's up? Hey, we got 3 folks on Twitch joining us. What's up, Twitch folks? I think that's the most we've had on Twitch at the same time, simultaneously. What up, Twitch folks? How you doing? Let me rephrase what you just said. There could be lots of reasons why somebody would kill their child, other than that they just can't take care of it. I'm sure there are many reasons. None of them are justifiable reasons to kill your innocent child. What is my name? My name is Arthur. I'm not. We're not live on Facebook anymore, guys. I stopped going live on Facebook, so we only live stream on Twitch and on YouTube. I was gonna say Facebook. It's a really dark place in front of an abortion mill. Yes, it is, sir. Justin's in the house. What up, Justin? How you doing? I should announce that next season for the Premier League, we're going to have an Apologia Center Fantasy Premier League that we'll post the link, and then whoever wants to participate in that is more than welcome to participate in that. We want to thank Jerome for that idea. Appreciate it, Jerome. We're going to put it into practice. What do you mean nobody thought of an app? An app to do what? An app to do what? I'm excited for the fantasy Premier League thing. I haven't done fantasy in some time. Fantasy soccer in a number of years. My friends and I haven't done it. We did one, I think, for the World Cup, but that was like different. It was a bit weird. It wasn't fantasy. Sorry, the World Cup one was like prediction. You predicted who's going to win and score lines and stuff like that. But well, that's not content. But thanks, appreciate it. Hey, there you go, Lex. There's all those women that go live. Thank you for that, Nancy. I'm going to ignore that comment. Future, thank you very much for the friendly reminder, ladies and gentlemen, to hit that like button and then go ahead and subscribe. And if you're still satisfied with what we're producing, you can also join us and become a patron on Patreon, a supporter of this channel. If you go to patreon.com/Apologia Center, and we have a lot of perks that we give with that, including a weekly Bible study that we are doing right now, going through the book of Ecclesiastes. That is fun. And if you can join live, then the recordings are posted almost always by Tuesday, and you can watch the recordings of those Bible studies. You are more than welcome to this channel. I'm curious about your name, by the way. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So this is why it's always good to remind people. If you haven't already hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like button. That's why we do what we do. Who else wants to call in? It's because it's Ramadan in Manchester. Well, it's Ramadan everywhere. So, question is, are you a Muslim or are you Christian? Thanks, Future. Thanks for being here. God bless you. Thank you for calling. Oh man, are we not going to see your face? Can you hear me? You are muted. We having a problem with folks not being able to connect? Yeah, it's not my fault though. The connections are bad, by the way. I got good connection. Ramadan is not in June. That might be Eid. No, no. This is. Oh, thank you. You missed my earlier comment. An app to link unwanted babies with people that want them, like Tinder. I'm guessing there would be like legal issues there developing an app like that. Uh, Be- because adoption is no simple thing in the United States. It's actually really, really complicated. And you're right, Saad, I messed up there. So yeah, I mean, I suspect that maybe people didn't. It kind of might go into the realm of potentially be used by people for like human trafficking and stuff. Um, you are a Muslim. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here. It's always nice having nice Muslims on. Someone tried to argue to me that Jesus was a Marxist communist. What is the appropriate response to them? So Jesus wanted the government to have all political power and to take away private property? Where? Typically, this is said when Jesus speaks about selling everything, giving it to the poor, so on and so forth. But always realize those things are voluntary. This doesn't stick to Jesus because Jesus' statement about these things are voluntary. Go and do this. And somebody can say, no, I don't want to do that. Like, cool, don't do it. Right. And the early church weren't communists and Marxists because they didn't want to take stuff from the government. They were voluntary. People volunteered to sell their properties and divide it amongst themselves. As a matter of fact, one of the very clear ways you know this is when Peter confronts Ananias and Sapphira, who lie about what Peter says, was it not yours for you to sell it? And even after you sold it, was the money not yours for you to decide how to spend it? So he could have said, Ananias could have said, hey, we're just going to give away 50% of it. But what they did is lied about it. They said we are giving all of it away, and they didn't. That's the problem. But yeah, folks who say stuff like that don't understand. They, like, haven't paid attention to the Bible. There's no way you're going to read the Bible and walk away saying, "Oh yeah, communism and Marxism is nonsense." It's like the greatest form of eisegesis on the planet. So Ramadan changes the times depending on the year via an alternate calendar. Thank you, Jerome. Hello, Cassidy. Hey, bro, 30-degree heat is very cold. That's freezing. That's snow weather. So you're telling us that they had to fast when it was really cold? The comparison there. Yeah, it's sort of a weird thing to say sorry, it's what a weird thing to just say to a random person that you adopt their baby and expect them to just say, okay. You realize they're going in there to kill their baby. I'm telling them, don't kill your baby. I will take your child and raise him or her. Do not kill your child. Like, and it's a weird thing for me to say, hey, I would prefer for your child to live. Please don't kill your kid. And they're like, wow, you're a nice guy, Arthur, but we prefer to kill our child. How's it a weird thing? Can you explain in Peter's life? Did he go to Greece? No, Peter never went. Well, I don't know whether he went to Greece, but that's I don't know where you're getting that stuff. It doesn't seem like it. He as a Jew, he was a Jew, right? Yes. So he founded temples with different flavor. What? Buck, I need a lot of context to this question because it's historically dubious, and I have no idea where you're getting any of this information from. Peter ends up in Rome and dies in Rome. But going to Greece and starting founding temples? No idea what you're talking about. Celsius supremacy. Hi, I'm new. Well, welcome, Zuma. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Let us see. Mark was Peter's interpreter, and he wrote his gospel in Greek. I don't know whether I would say that Mark is Peter's interpreter. He functions, at least for the Gospel of Mark, as his scribe. Seems like Peter knew Greek. I mean, he ends up penning First and Second Peter. But hang on, bud. Can we hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up with everyone's internet?
I'm outside, so
Oh,
my internet is
you're good.
unstable. I'm sure
Okay,
yours is more stable since you're
you're
in.
good. You're good. So far, so good.
It's pretty hot outside.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like 70 plus degrees, man. I've been sweating a lot. I was gonna keep my hair and, grow a big beard, but I don't know if I can do that.
Okay.
Every time I wipe my sweat, it's like there's.
Get rid of the hair. Keep the beard. Buy our sweater that says bald, bearded, and biblical.
If you get the t-shirt, I'll definitely buy the t-shirt.
I'm working on it. I'm working on t-shirt. Like I get the it's not sweater season, right? It's not, but yeah, we're working on the t-shirt.
Mhm.
Hopefully soon. What's
So
up,
I
Chrome?
wanted to say one thing specifically. I mentioned about the premium Bibles. I wrote a text about that.
I I
I
didn't see
think
it.
if yeah, it's way up in the comments. But if I think if you're a Christian and you can afford it, I think um it's really good to get one of those. The moment I held a premium Bible, I couldn't go back to the faux leather. I can't do it. When you touch the real, it just feels so much better. There's no way for me to explain it until someone um grabs a premium Bible and it just feels in their hand. And I use that. I have one. I'm gonna bring it on Thursday. Um, I want to bring it out. So, it's gonna be the Bible I mainly use. So I wanted to bring it with me. I'm actually gonna mark it up, which is one of my pet peeves. I hate. Yeah,
Wow, we
yeah.
are converting you, bro. We are converting you. Are you
There's a
sure?
highlight system. Yeah, there's a highlight system that my friend recommended, and I think it's pretty good.
Store
It'll
that
help
highlight
like
system for me.
if you're well, someone else kind
Oh.
of gave it to me. And Haraj has some good ones too that he recommended, and I'm thinking of
Correct.
kind of,
He's developed it better
you
than
know,
I stole it from my teacher, so this isn't original stuff. But
mm.
yeah, so I got a highlight
Yeah, it really
system.
helps. Like with the stuff I don't understand really well, and then like when I'm done with the reading, I've highlighted it like in orange or something, and then I go look into it, and then if I'm at a Bible study and we're reading that passage and I come across that highlight, I might share what I learned about it. Maybe someone else might have the same question, or they might not have noticed it, and then they can, and if other people are doing the same thing and we come across a text that they didn't understand initially, but then they looked into it, they can give us more information on what they researched. So
Yeah.
I think it's it's
So
it's really good.
Jerome wants to know what markup means.
Like okay, for example, there's a text in Colossians that so there's also let me give you an example though. So I have one color specifically for what like heretics kind of use, or what cults use, what
Interesting.
false beliefs have. Yeah, so you kind of like the firstborn of all creation in Colossians.
Uh-huh.
I would highlight firstborn, and I want to get a Bible pen like a really small, like a 0.5 millimeter pen or something, so I can kind of write little things in there. Yeah, like kind of like that.
But this leaks, even though it is 0.5. It's a really good one.
Yeah, it does look pretty fine. I can't
It's
see, it's kind of blurry.
it
Oh, there you go.
very
Yeah,
fine.
that's a super fine tip.
Yeah,
But
but
I
it
found
leaks.
one. I found one on Amazon that supposedly doesn't leak, but I have to test it first. But so for the Colossians text, I would highlight pre firstborn, and I would maybe in the margins write like preeminence or something, to kind of let me know, okay, this is what it's in reference to. So if you're on the street
Do you know the
evangelizing and
Armenian
you've got
word?
your
Do you know the Armenian word for firstborn or preeminent? The way it's used.
no, I haven't read
Uh,
that.
It's Andranik
I don't know. Interesting.
because Andranik means firstborn. But you can also use it in a symbolic way, like you can refer to like this is my Andranik child, who's not actually your firstborn, but
Mm.
like preeminent child. So it's always good knowing the Armenian, but Andranik, which is you can only the sad thing is you can only name your firstborn child Andranik. It makes no sense
Well,
to me. I know who's
I
not
have
the
a friend.
firstborn.
Yeah, it's the same friend, I'm guessing.
It's a contradiction. It is. It is.
Yeah,
It's a contradiction. It's like your name
yeah, it's
can't be
pretty funny.
Andranik.
Yeah, but yeah, so Jerome, the markup system is basically where you have a system of highlights.
Writing,
For
yeah,
it's
writing in
it's
your
not just
Bible.
the Bible, by the way. It's any text. Like there's law. There's people in law school who highlight stuff and make little notes to help them understand. Or like you can even use it in a book. Like yeah, look at that. What is that? Tactics?
Yeah, but that's because I'm teaching through it. The markers are there for like PowerPoint slides and stuff, but I write in it as
Mm.
well.
Yeah,
And
you put little notes. I'm sure you highlight stuff too, like stuff that you want to
I underline.
focus on
I
or
don't
something.
highlight anymore. I
Underline.
used to,
Okay.
but I underline because I realized I was highlighting too much. And then I just underline and then circle words and then write little things on the sides. Yeah.
Jerome, if you want to get the most out of your Bible or anything you're reading, you have to I really hate writing stuff in the Bible. I really hate it. But if I want to get the most out of it, then I have to mark it up.
If you're studying it,
And
you do.
yeah, and another thing with these premium Bibles is they last a lot longer than these full Bibles or these hardcover Bibles. I have fake leather Bibles, and I don't know what it is, but I have sweaty hands. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Oh, this is a wide margin.
This is a journaling Bible, so I get to write on the sides as well. That's with my coloring system.
So you highlight there in there
By the way,
also?
I use color pencils. I don't use highlighters.
Okay. And you underline?
In this Bible. In this Bible, I highlight because there's a highlighting system. Like it has a in the front of the Bible, I put the breakdown of what each color means, so that in case somebody
Oh, that's a
finds
good
my
idea,
Bible,
legend.
or if anybody, yeah, it's a legend. So if in case somebody gets their hands on my Bible in the future, they'll be able to read my mind. So, or even figure out what I think God was telling me, or how He was speaking to me through various passages.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And when you're going through it like the second time, you kind of get more from your highlights, like because the first time you went through it and you made the highlights, you kind of build connections. I don't know. It's just like I've noticed when I'm going through Exodus and stuff. Like I've been marking stuff, and when you kind of go back and look through it, you can kind of see more than you saw the first time. But yeah, it's
Correct.
really good. I did used to highlight before, so this is a new thing that kind of developed. But yeah, I'm going back to the highlighting system. I think it's great. And another
That's
reason, another pro for premium Bibles is I have a bunch of full leather Bibles, and the cover just kind of, I don't know if it's because I got sweaty hands or something, but the cover just falls apart. Where these leather Bibles, they're supposed to be like lifetime Bibles. They're supposed to, I mean, the binding is better, the pages are sometimes better. It's just overall a better experience, and they last. Like these Bibles you were talking about, where people pass it down, those are most likely leather Bibles, you know. The
yes,
cover's still intact. Some of
yes,
the pages might be ripped and stuff, but yeah.
correct.
Can I say some other things? I want to change the topic real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there was someone asking a question about like defending something in the Bible. I don't remember the exact question, but whoever that was should really go through tactics to. I, okay, so while I don't agree with Greg Kokel on everything, the author of Tactics,
You'd
um,
be surprised how much you do agree with him on various theological points.
I mean, he says he's a Calvinist, but then he doesn't believe in predestination. I don't know how that works. Like, but yeah, I guess we do agree. I hope he's younger also. That would be a great boost, if he was. But so yeah, tactics is really good for art for navigating through conversations. And he has like if you get further into the book, he has two different ways he does it. Like a more aggressive way and a more kind of what's that guy's name? Columbo style. Like and I think that
Yeah,
approach
I'd
is
say
really effective.
offensive and defensive is probably better.
Mhm. Yeah,
Writing it down.
yeah. I don't know. That's really good. I can't. I work by myself. When I'm outside, I don't really see people, so I really want an opportunity to kind of put these into practice to try some of the things he said, which would be pretty good to see. I want to see the reaction I get because I've
Yeah,
done evangelism,
hang
in
out
a
in coffee
different way.
shops.
Yeah,
Hang out in
just walk
coffee
around.
shops. Just go drink coffee somewhere. Sit down and talk to people.
It's just the icebreaker is the hard part. That's why
Yes,
I want that cognitive dissonance testing.
data
It's like
gathering,
like,
bro.
like hey,
Data
you want to
gathering.
take a
You
yeah.
don't need. You can spark up a conversation with anyone about anything if you pay attention to them, what they're wearing, all that.
Yeah, Intel. Um, Another thing, I was listening to a podcast this morning, and there was that Peter guy on, Peter Bolosan,
Who on
and
with who?
it was the Timcast IRL podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see him trying to get these people to understand that it's politics, but he's trying to make them understand that this specific thing he's talking about is ideological, and it's philosophical, and ideologies at the end of the day are kind of philosophical.
Correct.
They you have metaphysics, you have epistemology, and you have ethics, and all those things kind of make up a worldview. And the ideology has those things there, and those are all branches of philosophy, right? Like different aspects of philosophy. And it's like they don't understand. So and most of the time when you talk about philosophy, people think it's just woo, but it's not woo. It's like it's real. So I wanted to say this because you're a philosopher. I wanted to say it would be good if, like in middle school or high school, they kind of taught like it was a period, maybe an elective at the very least, where it's like a philosophy class with a little bit
Some
of
some
logic sprinkled in.
some schools do it. I mean, they used to. They used to teach logic. Um, yeah, that's classical education. Classical education. Any school you go to that is a classical education model will have logic and philosophy built into the whole
Mm.
thing. So when you go into math, you got that broken down properly, and then your final years of school, you're able to um, argue for points. So there's speeches you give, papers you write, argumentative papers that are supposed to be logically coherent, and so on and so forth. Is he talking about Peter Boghossian? Yes, he is talking about Peter Boghossian. We should have Peter Boghossian on.
Yeah, that would be great.
Two Armenians who disagree on God. Title it Disagreement
I'm
Amongst
sure
Armenians.
I'm sure you guys have philosophical differences too.
Um, that'd be interesting. I would have to look at it. Yeah, I got to go through his book. I got his book. I got the audiobook on Manual for Making Atheists. That's on my reading list. But he did interact with me on Twitter when I posted a clip of his. And then
Mm.
he watched. It seems like he watched the clip because he made a comment. I gave an idea about creating a shirt that said something like "Caution, people who disagree with you ahead." And he liked that. He said I'd wear that
Oh, that's
shirt.
a good one.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe one of these days. Sorry, man. Man,
That's
so one
fine.
of the things I was trying to do is actually when I was in Armenia, I was trying to get Peter Boghossian to go to Armenia, have a debate with, and I was trying to get Peter Boghossian and then our guest for this Thursday, Dr. Dog Kavit, to go to Armenia and have a debate on the existence of God in Armenia. And then I got in touch with him through someone else that I know that knows him. And I said, can you please ask whether he'd be open to that? And he said, Peter is, because of like the woke culture and all that stuff and freedom of speech that he's focusing on, he said he doesn't really want to debate God's existence right now. And he thinks that the free will kind of conversation is more important to him. And so I said, cool.
Doug?
Christian said, arguminians. That's good. No, Peter Boghossian said that. He said he wants to focus on the free will kind of stuff. So it would have been really cool to have him come down to Armenia. And so yeah. Because
I don't think
by the way,
Peter speaks.
he's a descendant of genocide survivors.
Boston?
Yeah. He was on,
Interesting.
you should watch his interview with Patrick Bet David. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
I think he might know
Probably after the
Armenian.
stream.
I don't know if I would just conclude he doesn't know Armenian.
Yeah, because his English is so good.
Yeah,
Where
but
you kind of think
he's like every other Armenian I know from the East Coast who's like third generation. But and then some of them you go, oh, they don't know Armenian, and then you're surprised at how well they speak Armenian. And I
because
know
their
people
English is
like,
so clean.
yeah, they just sound American.
But West Coast Armenians have an accent. Like
That's because we're all
I have an
immigrants.
accent.
That's because we're all
Yeah.
immigrants. That's
Well,
because
I was born here. I was born here, so I don't know where that accent comes from.
your
But
house,
yeah.
your house. It has
So
to.
I have to go. I gotta go and do the rest of my accounts that I have, and I do want to fact check myself because I said something that was factually incorrect the last time I was, well, a while
Yeah.
back when I was on. I was talking to, I think it was Aram. His name was Aram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We were
Aram
talking
Papazian.
about creation and stuff, and
Whoa, you froze. You
I don't
froze.
remember exactly what I said.
You froze. We didn't hear anything you said.
I said the last time I was on, we were talking about creation. I was talking to someone, one of your other subscribers, and I mentioned something about carbon 14 dating that was wrong. So whatever I said in there about carbon 14 dating, just kind of whoever saw it, don't, like remove that from your mind. It's not factually correct. It is correct that they do measure carbon 14 for early things that they don't think have been here for millions and millions of years. Like things that have been here for thousands of years, they do use carbon-14 dating. But for those older the older things that they date, they use I forgot which element it is. It's some kind of uranium.
Hmm.
It's some kind of I think they call it radiocarbon or something, radiocarbon dating. But that's the method they use for older dating. For That's the method of dating they use for older things, like older fossils, older rocks, not carbon-14. So I just wanted to fact check because someone's gonna watch that and say this guy's an idiot. Like, dude, that's not the method that's used. So, and I don't
Okay.
want to be putting misinformation on your channel. So
No, that's okay. Thank you. Thank you for
hopefully
your
people,
intellectual honesty.
yeah, my friend told me about it, and then when I'm preparing a few slides for YAC, and I kind of came across that. I'm like, oh no, I said something that's completely wrong. So hopefully whoever saw that can,
It's okay.
you know,
Forgive him.
well, I'll see you later, Arthur.
Okay, bro. Thanks for
Thank you for having
calling.
me
I
on.
appreciate it. You guys are all giving me breaks on my voice, which is amazing. And I'm drinking my tea just listening to you guys. Yes, Peter Bowen is the author for Manual for Creating Atheists, how to have impossible conversations, and essentially the founder of Street Epistemology. You're welcome, atheists. Armenians giving you gifts again. I'm just gonna claim everything, dude. Oh, it's hilarious. But it would be really cool to sit down and have a conversation with Peter Bowen. Sometimes it might just work because it's like, hey, I'm Armenian. Why don't you jump on? Somebody asked if I could respond to a video by David Wood, Act 17 Polemics channel, the truth about Ramadan. I haven't seen this video. David's, as many of you guys know, a interesting character. I've had conversations with him, done interviews with him on his channel, old channel. But yeah, let's watch it. It's 17 minutes. I'm gonna fast forward it. Not fast forward. Let's go 1.25 the speed and then see what David Wood has to say about Ramadan. Check it out. Mr. David Wood, take us away about the truth about Ramadan.
Well, it's that time of year again. And as you can see, I'm fasting, Islam style. When most people think of fasting, they think of not eating. They think of abstaining from food. But in Islam, aka opposite world, fasting means gorging yourself with food multiple times per day. I guess you could say that Muhammad's followers are abstaining, in a weird sense, during Ramadan. They're abstaining from not gorging themselves with endless piles of delicious food. Islamic fasting is what we would ordinarily call feasting. For comparison, the closest thing non-Muslims have to Ramadan in the US is Thanksgiving dinner. That's our big meal of the year. But Ramadan goes on for a month, and they have 2 gigantic meals per day. Imagine having 2 Thanksgiving dinners per day, every day, for an entire month. Pretty gross, right? Pure gluttony. Now imagine having 2 Thanksgiving dinners per day, every day, for an entire month, and calling it fasting. Imagine gorging yourself with food until you almost pass out, multiple times per day, over and over again, day after day, while you announce to the world, see how devout I am? I'm fasting. Strange use of the word fasting, isn't it? All right, now what? Ooh. Gordita. Ramadan fasting is what we might call trans fasting. It's feasting that identifies as fasting. As such, our Muslim...
I was like, where is he going with this? Trans fasting. Oh, man. I think he's probably the only person who's ever used that kind of terminology. Um, so I'm not sure. You guys, if you know, you can correct me on this. Is it? Do they really feast? I know they eat quite a bit after uh, when sun goes down. I'm not sure whether the morning feasts or the morning eating is big, or whether it's like you can eat whatever you want, but make sure you limit it or you don't eat as much so you can get through the rest of the day until you get to night, and then you can eat uh, enough. I do see it as a weird like cheating in my personal view on it is. It's like if you're gonna fast, you might want to like not eat anything or just eat very very little. Okay, now I've done both, not for 30 days, but I've done both for 5-7 days, where it was like an apple a day or something like that to keep me going. But um, at different times, right? So sometimes it was in the morning, sometimes it was at night, and then I've done like no food at all for 5 days. I went 5 days without any food at all, and that's hard. Keeping your concentration and then like smelling food everywhere, that's a difficult one. Just drink liquids, essentially, water.
Friends are to be accorded all the rights and privileges of the LGBTQ community, which means that the rest of us have to agree with them that shoveling giant plates of food into their mouths is, indeed, fasting.
Oh,
Milk. See how easy it is to call something by a completely different name from what it actually is? If you're new to the fast of Ramadan, hope I don't get canceled for that slip. If you're new to the fast of Ramadan, here's a brief introduction. Ramadan fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, the most essential practices of the religion. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar. Muslims who aren't exempt for some reason are required to abstain from food, beverages, and sexual intercourse from dawn to sunset for the entire month. But once the sun goes down, it's party time. How this works in practice is quite telling. In practice, many Muslims simply reverse their day-night sleeping schedule. They sleep during the day and stay up eating all night, with special emphasis on 2 huge meals, one after sunset and one before sunrise. So, in practice, Muslims who are fasting get together and gorge themselves with food at night, then gorge themselves with food early in the morning, then sleep all day. They wake up in the evening after a long day of sleeping and gorge themselves with food again. Then
yeah, I'm kind of curious to know how true that is. I suspect, in the sense of like whether it's done in like largely Muslim countries, because like in the West, it'd be very difficult for them to be able to do that, obviously, because the world doesn't function that way, or the country they're in doesn't function that way.
they snack all night and gorge themselves again early in the morning and again sleep all day. They repeat this cycle for an entire month.
By the way, one of the things I don't like is hearing people chew really loudly, and it's bugging me.
One of the main reasons I think it's utterly ridiculous to call this month-long cycle of binge eating and sleeping fasting is that my ordinary everyday schedule would almost qualify as Islamic fasting, minus the binge eating and the endless terrorist attacks we call the Ramadan Bombathon. As many of you know, I have 5 sons. 2 of them have been on life support their entire lives. They have a rare genetic muscle disease. We can't leave them alone. Some years we have a night nurse, but we don't now. So I stay up with them all night, every night. I sleep during the day. My last meal before I go to sleep is around 5 a.m. So I'm done eating before sunrise. I go to sleep around 7 or 8 in the morning. I wake up around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. My first meal of the day is around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. True, that's a little before sundown right now, but it would be very, very easy for me to shift my schedule slightly so that I only eat breakfast after sundown. Now, if I were to shift my schedule slightly, eating my first meal after sundown and eating my last meal before sunrise, can anyone say, with a straight face, that I would be fasting? According to Islam, I'm almost fasting all year long. Should I go around bragging about what a devout religious person I am because of all the fasting I do? Do you have any idea how insane that sounds? Think about it. Lots of people around the world, and lots of people down through history, eat their last meal of the day around 6 or 7 p.m. They eat breakfast around 6 or 7 a.m. Would anyone say that all these people are fasting because they go 12 hours without eating? Of course not. Well, what if they suddenly get night jobs and reverse their schedules? Is it fasting then? According to Islam, yes, it's fasting. Wow, that is a delicious chicken sandwich. Ah! It's Chick-fil-A. It's a Christian chicken sandwich. On behalf of...
By the way, for those who don't know, Dr. David Wood. Sometimes we just forget that the guy has a PhD in philosophy and 2 master's degrees. Somebody said he's a low IQ dude. I've been in plenty of conversations with David. David is a diagnosed psychopath, I think, or sociopath. Sociopath. Yeah, he's a Christian. He doesn't have any emotions. He doesn't feel empathy. So some when he does certain things, he just doesn't feel any emotions because that's the way he is. That's the reality. But he's been doing this for a very, very, very long time when it comes to giving answers to Muslims and interacting with Muslims. And he's very, for those, again, who do not know, some of us are very aware and familiar with David Wood. He pushes the boundaries quite a bit in regards to the content and videos he makes.
cultural critics
But try reading his comment section and see. Yeah.
Where I would like to issue this heartfelt apology to the trans fasting community for hurting their religious feelings by devouring a delicious Christian chicken sandwich during the month of Ramadan. I gotta have some of these waffle fries though. I call them fasting fries. If I got paid for product placement, I could buy Twitter from Elon. This is bad, I'm stuffed. I'd like to keep this up for an entire month. I need to go purge. All right, I'm back and ready for Ramadan round 2. According to scholars, Ramadan is Arabic for eating disorder. Vimto is now like the official drink of Ramadan. It's pure sugar. I think Vimto is the Arabic word for diabetes. Tastes like carbonated cherry pancake syrup. You may be wondering, David, why do you care about this trans fasting?
There we go.
If people who are gorging themselves with food want to identify as fasting, who are you to judge? Well, there are 2 main reasons I'm talking about this. 1, Ramadan is destroying Muslims physically. And 2, Ramadan is destroying Muslims spiritually. First, the physical. We don't need a prophet to tell us that filling your belly with...
By the way, you said they also don't drink water. So unless David Wood goes the entire day without drinking water, he doesn't understand Islam. If the drinking the water is, again, from sun up to sundown, sometimes I do that. I just forget to drink water. Unless I'm like sitting here and I got like this is the reason why I do this sort of stuff that I do. Like, because I forget to drink water. I don't think it's very difficult, by the way, going from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. not drinking water. I've done it a lot of times. Neither is it when it comes to eating. Like if you have a very, very early morning meal, it's not very hard waiting until 6 to eat. And then eat, especially if you're going to have a really big dinner.
horribly unhealthy food multiple times per day for an entire month every year is bad for you. There's a sharp rise in hospital visits during Ramadan, many of them due to digestive problems. There's a surge in uncontrolled diabetes cases because of Ramadan. Thanks to Ramadan, obesity is on the rise in Muslim countries. Gulf countries are now among the fattest countries in the world. But as long as they don't eat pork, it's all halal, am I right? Food retailers have to start stocking up at least a month before Ramadan in order to keep up with the increase in food sales. Food bills increase by 50 to 100% during the month of fasting. And depending on the area, food bills can increase much more. Medical journals still find this confusing. They say things like, Surprisingly, weight gain and not weight loss was reported after Ramadan by Saudis, which indicates timely needed lifestyle and dietary modification programs for a population which reports one of the highest prevalence rates of diabetes. Yes, shocker, a month of binge eating every year leads to health problems. There are tons of studies reporting these kinds of issues, and when you point out what Ramadan is doing to the Muslim community, Muslims reply, "But we don't all do that." Okay, there may be exceptions, but the statistics show this is a massive problem everywhere Islam goes. But it gets worse. Keep in mind that not everyone who's trans fasting can sleep all day. Some people have to go to work during the day after partying all night, but then they can't even have a sip of water while they're working, leading to a range of medical emergencies, heat stress, traffic accidents, and so on. But as long as they don't drink a beer, it's all halal, am I right? Productivity drops between 35 and 50% during Ramadan. Imagine being less productive while giving yourself diabetes and going into debt to pay for all the food you're shoving down your gullet. What a religion. Islam? More like morbidly obese Islam. So, Ramadan causes lots of health problems for trans fasting Muslims, but that's just the physical. There's also the spiritual. Muslims claim that they follow Jesus. They say, "We follow Jesus more than you Christians." Now, what they really mean when they say this is that they follow what Muhammad said about Jesus. They claim to follow all the prophets, but they're just following what one false prophet said about all the prophets. So at the end of the day, they're still following one false prophet and no one else. They definitely don't follow the Lord Jesus.
Hey, Jerome, how often do you fast?
Jesus Christ, who was the all-time king of exposing religious hypocrisy. In Matthew 6, Jesus condemns religious practices that are meant to impress other people, acts of righteousness that are just for show. He talks about giving to charity and prayer, and then he says this about fasting. Matthew 6, verses 16 through 18. "And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Notice, Jesus condemns fasting that's meant to be seen by others. If you're fasting in order to earn a reputation for righteousness, your reputation is the only reward you get, according to Jesus. Apart from that reward, your fasting is worthless. Imagine a religion that demands, as one of its 5 pillars of orthodox practice, an entire month of public fasting. It's not fasting in private. It's not fasting in secret. It's fasting that everyone sees and knows about and talks about. You're praised if you do it and blamed if you don't. You literally announce to the entire world that you're fasting. That would be bad enough. But imagine what Jesus would think of this public fasting if it weren't even fasting. Imagine the level of contempt Jesus would have for a religious practice of public fasting that isn't even fasting. In other words, imagine a religion that encourages people to pretend to fast and to praise each other for fasting, even though they're actually gorging themselves with food multiple times per day. Jesus criticized people who were actually fasting, but who wanted other people to know that they were fasting. He called them hypocrites, even though they were fasting. How much worse is it to want other people to think that you're fasting when you definitely aren't? It's a double hypocrisy. Hypocrisy for not actually fasting, and hypocrisy for wanting a reputation as someone who fasts. If you made a list of everything Jesus said not to do as part of your religion, and you rolled it all up into a giant ball, you'd get Islam. The main question that remains is, why is Islam like this? Why do Muslims eat more and spend more and waste more when they're fasting than when they're not fasting? Why put a mask of piety on extreme gluttony? The answer, I think, lies at the very heart of Islam. Islam doesn't teach people to control their desires. Islam encourages people, the men especially, to carry their desires to perverse extremes. But it only allows them to satisfy these desires within an Islamic framework, thus trapping people with their own desires and using these desires in the service of the religion. For instance, if a non-Muslim man goes clubbing regularly and has sex with 100 different women, Islam will condemn him as a fornicator. But if this same man converts to Islam and joins the jihad movement, he can marry 4 women and take home sex slaves after every battle and be perfectly righteous before Allah, even if he has sex with 100 different women. Notice, same desire in both cases, sex with lots of women. But one is acceptable and the other is unacceptable, based on whether it's advantageous to Islam. Likewise, if a psychopath goes on a killing spree, he's surely going to hell, according to Islam. Unless, of course, he goes on a killing spree as a terrorist attack for the sake of Allah as part of the Ramadan Bombathon, in which case his violent massacre will earn him a one-way ticket to paradise, where he'll spend eternity deflowering virgins. The psychopath wants to kill either way, but Islam provides the framework for pleasing Allah while satisfying the desire. According to Muslim sources, the tribes of Mecca were violent, lascivious, and gluttonous. Muhammad didn't change their behavior when he forced them to convert to Islam. He made their desires even more extreme and presented them with only one way to satisfy them: the Islamic way. When you can take the lowest, most animalistic part of people and convince them that it's the best part of them and that they're serving God by killing and raping and shoveling food in their faces, you've just made yourself an army. Hence, the rapid spread of Islam. Should we be surprised that Ramadan is a month-long series of gluttonous feasts that Muslims call fasting and view as one of their highest religious duties? Not at all. When Muhammad is your prophet, you don't have someone who can give sight to the blind or raise the dead. You only get one miracle. What's the one miracle in Islam? It's this: Islam takes behavior that's normally regarded as selfish and harmful and miraculously transforms it into the will of God.
I realized how slow David Wood speaks, because that was 1.25 the speed and it was just normal talking. But I think I speak pretty slow as well. Whenever I listen to myself, I'm like, you gotta talk faster. Even though some people accuse me of speaking too fast in public, when I'm like preaching and stuff, they're like, Arthur, that was too fast. Of course, it's incredibly taxing not to eat anything. I've done it. I love how all the atheists are defending the Muslims and Islamic fasting, even though you don't do it. Wood's master's is in mockology and applied sarcasmogetics. Yeah, he's got that down. No, look, man. I don't need to. I lived with Muslims for my entire life. Okay, and during cricket season, when Ramadan occurred in the summer, my friends would regularly report having trouble even to the school nurse because they're kids. Right. I mean, you're in school, they're 14, 15, 16 years old. This is the part of your life where, like when I was 14, I was consuming lots of food. It was hard keeping up. My mom always cooked. It was very hard keeping up with the amount of food I ate. So to completely cut out food, even for half the day, and then you're allowed to eat the other half of the day, of course it's going to be incredibly taxing. Of course kids are going to complain about that stuff. That doesn't... Nobody's saying it's not hard going a certain time period without eating. Like anybody that's done any kind of a diet knows it's hard. What he's saying is that you shouldn't call it fasting. And I'm not in agreement with that, because I think you can have various sorts of fasts, religious fasts. So you can have like vegetarian only fasts, like Christians do that, right? They'll have what they call a Daniel fast, where they just eat vegetables and stuff like that. But to say it's like the hardest thing on the planet is just, it's silly. Especially when you get to eat as much as you want as well after that time period, like after the day ends. You guys, it's 2:41 right now. Okay? I haven't eaten anything all day. That's normal for me. Usually my first meal of the day is about 3 p.m. Well, after my live streams, when my family gets home, we have a meal together. That's my meal of the day. And like yesterday, I didn't have dinner. I ate breakfast, and my breakfast was like 2 eggs. That's it, like Easter eggs. I broke them, just ate the egg, hard-boiled eggs, 2 or 3, and had smaller sort of a dish to eat at 3 something, and I didn't eat, and I haven't eaten since about 3:30 yesterday. And I'll probably end up eating after this stream when my family comes home. That's normal. Now that's my choice, right? Like I can, if I'm hungry, I can eat or whatever like that. But I don't go around complaining about it. Like, oh, this is so difficult. It's so hard. By the way, just don't. If you're gonna do it, just don't. If you're gonna do, Jesus has a very good statement there in regards to if you're gonna fast, don't tell everybody, don't proclaim it to everybody. Just do it because it's hard, by the way. And people will if they find out you've been like fasting for like 5 days, you haven't eaten anything, they're generally going to be like, wow, man, like look at your will and you're so strong and all this stuff. Like, just don't tell anyone. When I was younger, I fasted, and I didn't tell my mom till like 3 days into it, where she was like, you need to eat something, you're going to die. And I was in school. Like, it was hard. Like, I was really hungry. I think it was like the 3rd day where I was like, Mom, like I don't want to eat. And I didn't want to just tell her I'm fasting. But at one point I was just like, okay, you have to understand this, Mom. I'm fasting. I'm not eating. Stop asking me and stop cooking delicious food and bringing it in my room. Like, cause you're a good Armenian mom. You're like, I got a plate prepared for you. And I'm like, no, I don't want it. Thanks. Yes. Yes, it is. It's Ali Dawa. Him and Ali Dawa have gone at it. He's debated Muhammad Hijab, those British guys. It is Ali Dawa. He turned it into a song. There are experts on Christianity and Islam debate. There's plenty of debates you can find online. I agree with David because fasting is meant to be close to God by removing things that distract you. Giving into such things in excess isn't fasting, but gluttony and greed instead. Well, the question comes like, can you give up something for a limited time? And if fasting includes a limited time, the issue becomes, is it like a continuous limited time or is it a limited time like in a day? Like, oh, I'm going to fast from something for the next 7 hours and I'm going to indulge in it, let's just say. I think that's a pretty decent place to have a conversation. You had pizza for breakfast? Cold pizza for breakfast is okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, number one, my voice isn't all there for me to like react the way that I normally would. There isn't much I could say on this. It seems to me that David's assuming that fasting is specifically just completely withholding from all food. I'm not sure whether I'm in agreement with that, because you see within Catholic and Orthodox traditions that folks fast, like I said, like the Daniel fast people do, where it's just a thing. By the way, there is a Christian guy. Hang on, there is a Christian guy, Light of the World. Here, we'll pull up his. He interviewed me for his channel. Here, we'll pull up his channel. We'll give a little promotion here. Oops, that's not the. Okay, so this channel, and where was it live? I did an interview with him. Videos. It was a fun conversation. I just don't know where. I don't think it was live. Okay. Hey, that video is not up. There we are. That's the video. He has recently been doing little shorts so he's fasting for Ramadan. Okay, he's fasting for Ramadan. So let's see.
Good morning, it's day 20 of Ramadan as a Christian. We have about 10 days left, and then this challenge is over. And FYI, I may have a special video coming up. I'll leave it at that for now, but I may have a special video coming up. We'll see when it happens. Day 20 is complete, but that news I was referring to a little bit earlier in this video, I got confirmation on something. I plan on visiting a mosque or a Muslim center and enjoy a iftar meal with them this coming Friday. So you can look forward to that. I'm gonna have some fun this Friday. We're gonna go do some visiting. So look forward to that. Got some exciting news and video coming up because of that reason. Hopefully you subscribe and watch that. Day 18 of Ramadan as a Christian. Let's jump into it. I've been running chores pretty much all day. I've been doing a bunch of stuff, editing videos, but I have a little bit of time here to relax and just give you guys an update. Day 18 is going well. Honestly, I don't even feel that much hunger or anything anymore. It's just kind of wait until the end of the day. Really, it is so crazy how your body gets so used to this after a while. So I'm pretty well used to it. Only a couple hours left and then I get to eat. So yeah, it's going well. Day 18 is over. You can't see me because the sun has set. Obviously. But I am going to go break fast for the day with some eggs, pancakes, and breakfast food in general. Really looking forward to it. But thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for watching. And see you next time. Good morning, everyone. It's day 19 of Ramadan as a Christian. It's a beautiful Easter morning. And I am looking forward to the rest of this day. Let's jump into it. You know, since it's Easter and since I'm fasting, it made me think about the account in the Bible of when Jesus fasted for 40 days and how fasting and prayer and meditation actually did, in a way, strengthen him.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't even know why I pulled that up, but he's doing the Ramadan fast, which is cool. What do I think about Ramadan? I don't really have any opinions on it. Like, people want to fast, let them fast, man. Like, all sorts of religions, like whatever. Like, if you want to disagree whether they can call it a fast or not, I frankly don't care about it. Just realized that if somebody who's never read my other comments came into the stream today, they might think I'm a Muslim. Isn't that interesting, Jerome? Do you have any recommendations? What's up, Jacoy? Do you have any recommendations on how to fast properly? Maybe a book or something. I don't actually. That's a very good question. I don't have necessarily a book on how to fast properly because I'm not very sure whether, like, it depends what you mean properly. Okay, because the Bible doesn't really give a list like within the Islamic tradition, like what they can eat, what they can't eat, when they fast, when X, Y, and Z, these sorts of things. The Bible just doesn't do that. And if you're gonna fast, the assumption there is just don't eat. Now that's assuming you're healthy enough. That you might have some medical conditions in which that's an impossibility. You're gonna have to eat. I have some friends like that who can't fast because they have medical conditions. Fasting book. I'm sure there are books out there on fasting and how to do it, quote unquote, properly. I just, again, I don't. Nothing comes to my mind. The way I've done my fasting, predominantly I had a professor who was really good at it. I had a professor who would fast like I think it was 3 or 4 days out of the week, like zero eating, just water. And then he would have kind of lighter foods the other days. And he'd been doing it for like 20, 30 years. Dude was like skinny and in shape, man. And he was like in his 60s. I'm just like searching on Amazon to see if there's any authors I might recognize that I would recommend. Why are these all audiobooks? But fasting is a good spiritual discipline, by the way. It's important. Tony Evans has a book on fasting. I think more people should probably be fasting. A lot of folks. The other thing is here. let me kind of explain why I'm for and against just food fasting. Okay. One of them is in the ancient world, eating was not as quick as it is in our day and time, right? In the ancient world, when you're eating, the preparation time is like, it's time consuming, right? You got to spend 2-3 hours probably gathering, or if you're buying from markets and stuff, and then the preparation of the food. Like preparing dinner would be a long process. And so when people would fast from food, that means that they have this large time open to them that otherwise is not there because they're not preparing food anymore. So that 4 or 5 hours. One of the things that I realized a number of years ago is that I tried to do food fasting, and I realized it was not making any difference in my day. Okay. Predominantly because I was under this idea and impression that if I'm fasting from food, then I want to use that time for prayer and meditation and X, Y, and Z. And I realized nothing was changing because this is a time when I was like on the road quite a bit, and my eating was a really quick endeavor. Like I drive through, you grab something, you eat it in the car in like 5 minutes. So then I was like, this is when I was in seminary, and I was like, man, that's just weird. So I had a conversation with one of my professors, and I said, hey, I'm fasting, but here's what's happening, right? Like I don't think, like, other than the fact that I'm hungry, like I'm teaching my body not to not to give into like every other desire my body has. Other than that, which is why I'm for physical, like not eating fasting, because you're essentially teaching your body that you have control over the desires of your like physical body, the needs, and then so he told me, what do you do that is time consuming, meaning it takes the right time in your life? And one of the things I realized was that I was on that I was on social media quite a bit. And now this is before you could tell like screen time use and stuff like that. Now you can actually go and check in your phone and see how much screen time you're consuming in a week. And then I was like, oh, like I'll find myself scrolling on Facebook for 20 minutes without even realizing. It's nowadays, it's for a lot of us, it's like Instagram. You're like scrolling or whatever, or it's being on YouTube. And then he was like, so why don't you fast from that? Like just completely get rid of the apps on your phone. So what I did is I deactivated every single one of my social media accounts. I actually ended up losing my original Twitter account because of this. That was under my name. Like it was Arthur Asadurian. That was my Twitter account. I got it when Twitter was like, people didn't even know about Twitter. Because I not only deactivated it, but it went beyond the deactivation. So I deactivated it for 30 days. I didn't have any social media for 30 days. One of the things I realized during this is that, like habits you've trained your body into. Like, for example, I would take my phone out and then I would immediately go to where the app was for Facebook and I would realize it's not there. And then it was a reminder of like, hey, you're fasting from this stuff. And obviously it got easier during that process, but I zero social media. I deactivated, not only did I delete the apps, so some people will delete their apps, but they still have it. I deactivated every single one of the accounts. And then ended up deleting my Facebook account after that. And then lost my Twitter account. Whatever. So so the challenge, I think, partly, at least for Christians, as we're talking about this, is that if you're going to fast, you want to fast from things that will open up time in your life as well, if it's not food, for you to dedicate to more prayer, more Bible reading, more meditation and reflection and stuff like that. Don't just not eat and then just fill it up with a bunch of other things and be as busy as you always were. Part of what fasting does, as a matter of fact, physically to your body, it slows you down because you don't have the same sort of energy. You're not continuously literally feeding into the energy that your body produces, because food is what we need to produce energy. So you slow down. As a matter of fact, your thinking slows down. You're not as focused maybe on things during certain parts of the day and stuff like that. So you like it or not, you're forced to slow down. So, I mean, these are, again, just experiential from my end in regards to fasting. But I would say food fasting is good because you're training your body, you're teaching your body that you have control over it, and that everything you're distinguishing here, but everything you desire, like physically, everything you desire, you don't necessarily need to have. You can say no to those things and not have it. So it's good in that sense. The fasting from other things is maybe things that we're like hooked onto too much and we partake of too much. Like we're watching too many movies, or we're watching too many too much Netflix or something. It's like, okay, cool. It makes sense for you to fast from that thing, even if that's for 20 days, 30 days or something like that. Yeah, so just be able to think through that stuff, but also use the time in a constructive way to for prayer, for meditation, for reflection, for Bible reading, more than you would on a regular basis. But those are just personal advice that I can give. Can I give you one answer? Yeah, you're more than welcome to give comments. Yeah. I hope that helps, Jacoy. I hope that helps. When Jesus fasted 40 days and 40 nights, it was 40 days first, like Ramadan, and then 40 nights inverse Ramadan, obviously. What? uh, it just means he didn't eat for 40 days and nights. It's not saying he ate days and then not nights, or 8 nights and not days. It's just, I hope you're being sarcastic there. David Burcott's book, A Dictionary of Early Christian Beliefs, has a section on fasting. Thank you. Appreciate that. I was just wondering, because sometimes I just don't eat and I feel like that's it. I'm wondering if I should be supplementing it with something else, or maybe I need to change my perspective. Yeah, so fasting is a lot more intentional than just like not eating. Like, again, I explained to you guys my eating regimen, for example, right? Like since yesterday till today. So my last meal was yesterday at around 3:30 p.m. And that's a bit different, because I think when you fast, there's intentional things that you ought to practice and put into practice. I would say if it's easy, make it harder. So if you realize not eating for a day is not really making a difference, like you don't physically feel what it's like, fast for 2 days. In my opinion, when you fast for 5 days, the most difficult day is the third day. The first day is a little bit difficult because you're unaware, but you're like figuring it out. The third day is really, really difficult. So be intentional about it. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm just not eating." Like, not eating and doing what? And then again, how long does it take you to eat? What does it mean what does it look like? Like, what does your eating look like, right? If you're always like munching on junk food and munching on chips, or munching on, or you're like in a schedule where you're going to drive-thrus and your eating is like 5 minutes long, then I would say maybe you might want to fast for something else that is time consuming, and then dedicate that to the Lord. Oh, look how cool I am. Can I give an answer? Shut up. Oh, Lola, calm down, man. Oh, relax. I haven't blocked people. Yesterday we accidentally blocked someone, but be nice, man. Be nice. Does Twitch allow you to have moderators? I would guess so. Well, I can ban them from here. Okay, let's see where this is going. Are you telling us to fast from your content, Arthur? Yeah. If that's what that looks like, if your relationship with God would become better for you not to watch YouTube, yeah, absolutely. I've told people regularly, if you haven't read your Bible and you're sitting down listening to my videos, turn it off, go read your Bible. Well, praise God. Happy to help. It's called celibacy. But even in marriage, the Bible speaks about fasting from sex. But the Bible speaks about when you do fast from sex, make sure that both people are in agreement, and that you don't do this for a long period of time, because you don't want to fall into temptation. That's the proper teaching of the Bible when it comes to fasting from sex in marriage. If you're not married, then you're just not supposed to have sex. I wouldn't call that fasting. That's just don't do it. It was a joke. Thank you. Okay. At least put like a lol at the end so I can gauge it, right? Arthur's joke detection meter is malfunctioning. Guys, I'm not the healthiest, right? Like I woke up. I was very close to canceling this stream. I mean, you can tell my voice is really jacked up. So yeah. After Ramadan, you're doing Eid. Okay. Who are you, man? Why don't you relax a little bit and just like listen? Then you can make a more educated opinions about me as a person. Okay, you know what? Ramadan Mubarak said, "Can you shout me out? Shout you out how? Do you have a YouTube channel?" Do you think the early church, first century, was still Judaism? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it was. And I don't think it's till like around 70 AD where that break comes. I think Christianity is ultimately a fulfillment of Judaism. The question is whether the question you should be asking is whether first century Judaism is the same Judaism as today. And I would argue that it's not. Take care. God bless. See you, Jerome. All the British folks are going to bed. Hey, all the Brits, it's bedtime. I don't know what that is. Oh, the door. That's a door. Some people you got to politely show the door to. That's probably true. Correct. Well, it's exactly what it says. It's rabbinic Judaism. Because like modern Judaism, depending on who you're looking at and theologians, if you compare it to the writings of Second Temple stuff, they disagree with interpretations. They even disagree with like the concept of a Messiah coming and stuff. You know, they talk about messianic ages and messianic time period, but not a literal Messiah. So it's very different. I think the Romans tried to save Peter from the Jews, but the Romans killed him anyway. What? How does that make any sense? How they start? How did? By the way, it was against the law in Israel in the first century to put anyone to death, to give them the capital punishment. That always had to be approved by the Roman government officials. This is partly why folks take Jesus, the religious leaders take Jesus to Pilate and say, give him the death penalty, because we can't. It's against the law. Also, Isaiah 52:14, Isaiah 53 was regarded as speaking about the Messiah more broadly until Rabbinic Judaism. All the Muslims are going to bed. Hey, see you. See you, Jerome. Jerome said he might be an undercover Muslim. I gotta get used to how to like properly function on Twitch. Where did you get this information from? And by the way, I'm genuinely asking, like, where you read that the Romans jailed Peter so that the Jews wouldn't kill him. Is streaming on multiple platforms at the same time a little difficult? So no, it's not. That's well, partly because it's not like both the platforms. My software exports it to both platforms, so I'm not doing it in YouTube and I'm not doing it in Twitch. I'm doing it on Ecamm Live, and then Ecamm Live, I put a destination, and then it takes it to those destinations. The cool thing is that when the comments come in from Twitch or YouTube, what I see in front of me is there's a little icon on the bottom that tells me it's from Twitch or YouTube. It's not difficult the way I'm doing it, but if there was a lot of people watching at the same time, I mean, I could see it becoming more difficult. I'm just not used to the way Twitch does things community-wise. I have the option to do it on Twitch, and so for me, I do it. I'm not really investing in growing a Twitch channel like that, the way I am in regards to YouTube. Can't remember where I read it. Nero blamed the Christians for a fire, then decided to kill Peter after he'd been locked up a while. So Nero, correct, but I want to know where you read that they were trying to save him from the Jews. Nero was nuts. He hated Christians and he was after them and he was killing Christians. But again, I want to know where it was like, oh, he was trying, the Romans were trying to save him, and then they were like, you know what, Nero's nuts, let's kill him anyways. Like, where does that come from? Okay. I'm going to have some medication. I'm going to eat something. I'm going to drink some meds. Try to rest. I got a number of other things I got to do, but so that I'm ready to go for tomorrow night's stream. I think I have a video that I want to respond to. Somebody sent it to me on Instagram. Yeah, I think we'll respond to that video. If not, if something better comes or something like that, but we might respond to that. Hey, thanks for hanging out, guys. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys kind of going through the motions with me, especially as my voice is not in the best shape it could possibly be. Appreciate the prayers for those who do pray and are praying. Thank you. And I will, you're going to break your fast. I'm going to go eat. I will, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. God bless you guys. And we'll see each other later.